Hey everyone, it's Hailey, aka Hailey's Hobbies, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about my hobbies. Hello, hi. So today we have a reading vlog, and if you only tune into the reading vlogs, you'll notice we are in a new location. I am starting my PhD, so I moved. If you want to know more about my PhD and like where I'm going, check out my moving vlog, although if my shirt gives any indication, I'm back at A&M. So I haven't been reading a whole lot this month. I'm pre-filming this. Y'all will see this like, I think the day before I start my PhD. It's currently like mid-July. But I haven't been reading a whole lot this month, mainly because it's been kind of a busy month for me. At the beginning of the month, I actually traveled to Maine. So if you watched my last reading vlog, I included some clips from that. And I feel like it's so dark. There we go, a bit lighter. And then I spent a week packing, and then I've kind of spent the past, almost week unpacking. But I really haven't read a whole lot. I've also been taking, I'm on like a health journey now. So I'm waking up, I'm going for walks, and I'm also taking a lot of dance classes, and so it'll be 4 p.m. and I just want to like knock out. I am exhausted because I am doing a lot of physical activity. So I really haven't been reading a whole lot. I've also been like not in a big reading mood, I think mainly because I don't have my reading set up here. So if you don't want to watch the moving vlog, basically I usually have this big bookshelf and like a skinnier bookshelf as my bookshelves. But I ended up using the skinnier bookshelf as like my desk shelf so I could store a lot of desk stuff. And so currently I'm waiting for another one to come in, and it's not going to come in for like another week, but I thought it'd be great to like put it together in this video. And then we can organize my bookshelves when that happens. But in the meantime, I haven't put up any books at all. I've been here for almost a week and I haven't set out any books because I don't have, a third of my bookshelves or a third of my space, to like put up books and everything. And I haven't even really finished decorating my room either. I still have all the wall decor that I want to put up and then all my trinkets. And so I'm just waiting for, the bookshelf to come in so that way we can finish decorating. This is kind of like my last like free time before my PhD starts. So I really would like to read a lot. I have like a lot of reading plans that I want to do. In this particular video, I kind of want to read 4 books. So the first book is called Ballad of Whispers, and I'm reading it on my Kindle. I'm almost done. I have like less than 100 pages, so I'm hoping if I can stay awake tonight, I will finish it. I have not been loving this, if I'm being honest, and I'm not, I don't know, I was so sad about this. So this book is by KB Elizabeth, and it's on Kindle Unlimited. I think it's indie published. But it's a debut novel. It's the first installment of the Sun Chosen Chronicles. The cover is beautiful. I love the cover. And I feel like, the premise is really nice. So you have Iris Verlana, and she has this like golden sun on the back of her neck, and it kind of marks her as the sun, like a sun chosen. And so there's 20 sun chosen in like a generation, and they're meant to kind of lead the council that rules this world that we're in called Altera. And so a while ago, she like ran away for a bunch of reasons, and so she's pretty much trying to not let anybody know her identity. There is a life debt in like kind of the family that she ends up with, and as a result she has to kind of go to my air conditioning is very loud. I should probably mention that. And it goes for like ever, so like there's no point in me sitting here waiting because then I'll be waiting for like 30 minutes for it to shut off. So I do apologize for the air conditioning. There's not much I can do about that. But anyway, so Iris goes to, I forgot what kingdom we're in. I'm trying to see if it's on here, but it's not. But she goes to this kind of like icy Casedon. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but Casedon. And it's kind of this really icy kingdom, and there she meets a prince, and they kind of have to work together to uncover the answers about a plague that's ravaging a lot of the realms, kind of the realm that Iris is from and the realm that the prince is from. There's a bunch of different realms, and they're seeing the plague in at least these 2 realms, and so they're trying to figure out a cure, all while, you know, navigating political scheming. You know, and this entire time, you know, she's trying to stay hidden with her true identity. If someone sees, you know, the sun on her neck, then, like, they know that she's kind of like the lost, you know, child of whatever. So, yeah, and it sounded really cool. I thought it was really great. Like, I just thought this sounded a lot of fun, and I saw, like, you know, a little TikTok about it, and it just made me really excited. I immediately downloaded it, and I haven't been liking it. I'm so sad. Starting off, obviously, like, getting an editor is expensive, but there's a lot of, like, errors in the book. Like, within the first 80 pages, I think I counted, like, 8 errors that I, like, noticed that were either, like, spelling errors or, like, grammatical errors or, like, words that just seem to get, like, cut off or something. And then also, it just feels very tropey. Like, it just feels like the author had, like, a fantasy checklist or, like, a romantasy checklist of, like, tropes to hit and just kind of checked each one of them off, and without really, like, going really into it, it all just feels very superficial. It also feels a little Wattpad-esque. Like, it feels like a Wattpad, like, fan fiction of a romantasy novel. So, I don't know. It just feels weird. I thought the magic system was cool, but it's not like a hard magic system. So, like, the prince, for example, has, like, wind powers, but he also has healing powers, and the healing powers only seem to come in handy when it's needed, which obviously that's kind of the case with healing powers, but, like, I feel like sometimes healing powers can be kind of like a scapegoat, and so I just feel like it's not done well. I'm not really enjoying it. I should have DNF'd it ages ago, but it has kept my interest just ever so slightly. And I haven't had the heart to DNF it because I was really excited for it, so I've kept reading it. Long story short, I'm not having the best time with this, but I would like to finish it. Anyway, so that's kind of the main thing to finish that I would like to try and finish tonight if I don't fall asleep. Secondly, I am reading a classic. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this. But this is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I at least want to, like, read, like, 100 pages. I don't really know anything about A Tale of Two Cities. I just know that it's about, you know, France and England. And the back of the novel does a good job at not telling you what it's about. So I really don't know, you know, what other novels, you know, or other editions say. It just traces the private lives of a group of people caught up in the cataclysm of the French Revolution and the Terror. So right now we're following, like, this young girl and her dad, and then also I think it's like this banker dude, or, like, I forgot exactly what his occupation is. I haven't read this in, like, a week, but he's involved. And then now we've also added in this one guy who has kind of been accused of treason. We've also switched to France, actually, like, in the past couple chapters, and we've met this kind of, like, really crappy marquise. Yeah, so far I'm enjoying this. This is my first Dickens. I really love the writing. Normally when I annotate, I save, like, green for, like, pretty descriptions or, like, nature kind of stuff, but I've switched it to just kind of, like, things that I like how he's written it, just because there were so many things where I was like, ooh, that's not nature, but I love how he wrote it, you know? So I'm really enjoying this, and I'd like to read a bit of that. And then the third book I like to read is A Murderous Relation by by Deanna Raybourn. This is the 5th book in the Veronica Speedwell series. I love this series. It's a fun, like, Victorian mystery, like, historical fiction with great, like, most wonderful slow burn romance in it. And I can't wait for, like, this book specifically for the slow burn romance. And we're also going to get, I think, a lot more with, like, Veronica's background in this one. Obviously, the first book focused a lot on her background, but I think we're kind of bringing that back in this book, so I'm really excited. And I just have been wanting to jump back into this world. I was going to read the book before I left for college, but I never got around to it. I just was, like, not really in a big reading mood. And then last but not least, I don't know how this one's going to go, but I would like to read Stirring Spurs, and I don't know who this book is by, so I'm gonna look it up. M.A. Wardell. So this is part of the Rainbow Ranch series. And so you have Boone Adams, and Boone kind of is a caretaker. He likes to nourish his friends and family. He's very sunny, sunshine character. And then Wiley Anderson arrives, a rugged cowboy battling his own demons and desperate for a fresh start. And so he sticks around for the monthly rodeo, and as their paths intertwine, Boone's nurturing spirit clashes as well with Wiley's hardened exterior, igniting a tension never expected. And so it's a cowboy romance with two cowboys, and I'm kind of excited to read it. I've read a couple cowboy romances at this point, and they've all been straight, so I am really excited to get into some queer cowboy romances. I really need a sapphic cowboy, or I guess cowgirl romance. I need like a buff mask lesbian and her femme. That's what I need in a queer cowgirl romance book. But anyway, so I'm gonna try and read this one. I don't know, I've never read anything by this author. Their Goodreads profile says that they write steamy queer romances and romantic comedies, so my goal is to make you laugh and turn you on, often at the same time. So I feel like that's promising. So it has a good rating on Goodreads. It's a 4.06. Yeah, so that's kind of the TBR for this video. We're going to finish Ballad of Whispers. We're going to make a bit of progress on A Tale of Two Cities. We are going to read and hopefully finish A Murderous Relation, and read and hopefully finish Stirring Spurs. And I feel like that's a good mix of books. We have fantasy, historical, romance, classic, and queer contemporary romance. So a lot of good, genres in there. So I'm going to do my best to get into reading tonight, and yeah, okay. Goodbye. Hello everyone. So it is the next day. It is Saturday, and I did not update y'all about my reading. I ate dinner and then I passed out. I was so tired. I've been doing a lot and I'm not used to dancing this much anymore. Like, I used to do it obviously in high school and everything, but now as a geriatric 24-year-old, no. So I've been so tired, but I've been having a blast, like, doing all the dancing. It's about 3 now. I went on my walk this morning, I did a stretch class, and I did a ballet class, and then I went to the grocery store, got a bunch of food for this coming week, and then I came back. I talked with my grandma for like 30 minutes, and then I'm currently doing the laundry as well as the dishwasher, so that's probably what you hear in the background if you hear any banging. Yeah, this is so hot. I don't know if y'all can see the steam just boiling off this. Today, I just want to spend the rest of the day reading, I think. I did make some progress on A Tale of Two Cities. I've just read another 25 pages and I'm currently on chapter 13, The Fellow of No Delicacy. I've been really loving it still. A lot of stuff has happened in the past like 25 pages, like someone got murdered and there's been like some love declarations and stuff, and so I've been having a grand old time. So I'm gonna read another 25 pages today, and then maybe I might try and read 25 pages before I go to bed, just because I kind of want to get this done before the end of the month so I can read another classic, so that way I can hit my 2 physical TBR reads per month goal. And then I haven't made any progress on anything. Oh no, I did finish A Ballad of Whispers. I finished Ballad of Whispers, and I don't know what I want to give it. So kind of what I use as my benchmark for like an average book is like a 2.5 to 3 stars. 3 stars tends to be like it's an average book, but like I really enjoyed it, but like it's not, you know, like anything like a 4-star or a 5-star. You know, like it was just a fun time. Maybe I'll read it like one more time, or maybe I won't ever reread it, but you know, it was fun. And then a 2.5 is like it was okay, but like I didn't really like it, you know? Like it was just meh. I'm like somewhere in the middle. I think maybe I'm like a 2.75 because there were some parts where I did enjoy like this book. Like I did like the world building, like a lot of thought was put into the world building, even if the magic system was very like open and felt more of like a convenience than anything. The characters were okay. I don't know, it just felt like a very generic romantasy that just kind of pulled stuff from other books. So I feel like a 2.75 would be a good rating because it wasn't like meh and I didn't like it. It was meh, but I liked it, but I didn't like really enjoy it, you know? Does that make sense? So I think I'm gonna do a 2.75 for this. And I think I will, you know, look out for the second book because I do think like it was an okay book, so I do think I will look for the second book. Yeah, so we did finish that, so that's great. So I think I kind of want to read something fast, and was it Stirring Spurs? Whatever the cowboy romance book is, it's only 206 pages, so I think I'm going to focus on that today and read that today, and maybe try and get it done today. Yeah, I also have some good news. My bookshelf is coming in today. I am so excited. It wasn't supposed to come in for another week, and when I was talking with my grandma, I mentioned, like, or she asked me about my bookshelf and when it was coming in, and I was like, well, it's not going to be for another week, but let me check, you know, Amazon, and I went on, and it said it was out for delivery, and I was like, what? I am so happy and excited because that means I can finally finish my room, and I really want it to be done. I also just haven't been in a big reading mood because like my books aren't out, they're in boxes. Oh my god, I'm not even in frame. Okay, well. Would y'all believe me if I said it took me an hour to do this? Because I just paused my music. It took me an hour. It looks so good. I'm very happy with it. I think maybe I will do some of the decor tonight. Kind of depends on how I'm feeling. At the old house, I had my desk in front of a few of the shelves, so like, you know, it kind of just, you couldn't see the whole shelf, and so now you can, and I feel like it just looks really good, and it also looks like I have more books than I should have. Okay, hello everyone. So I switched up my room. I like it a lot more now. So obviously I had my bed kind of facing, you know, this way. It was against the wall on that side. I just felt like it looked funny. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And I have just like a twin bed. Keep shaking the desk. Oh my gosh. I just have a twin bed, and so it just felt awkward putting the twin bed like straight out, because it just feels too small to do that, you know? I feel like I need like a full or a queen or like a king to do that, and I'm not gonna get another bed. I've paid money for this frame. I bought a really expensive mattress. Well, my mom did actually. She bought it for me when I moved back home, and so I'm gonna get as much as I can out of this mattress and this frame. The frame is a bit cheaper. It's not really a good quality frame, but the mattress is really good quality. So I don't really see the point in getting like a bigger bed just to make the space look a bit better. And I don't need a bigger bed. It's just me, so like there's no point, you know? And I have an air mattress if anybody wants to sleep over. So like, yeah, my mom is like coming over in a few weeks, I think. So like she can sleep on that. So yeah, I've just been thinking, like for the past, you know, week that I've been here. I can't believe it's already been a week. It feels like a million years. Or I guess it's only been a week. Yeah, I feel like I've lived a million lifetimes. But I have been wanting to see if the bed could fit right between, you know, the wall and the bookshelf, and it fits perfectly. There's like maybe like about this much space between the bed and the bookshelves, so it doesn't look super cramped. I could scoot it a bit more if I wanted to, but the windowsill blocks me from scooting the bed back any further, but it looks fine. And then I just have so much room now, like here on the floor, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with all this room, because I had a lot of room to begin with the original layout, but now I have even more room. So yeah, I do miss, like, you know, the nightstand in the corner, like tilted or at a diagonal. I thought that was super cute, and I could do that and, like, you know, have it against this wall instead, like the bed, you know, but I feel like that would just look funny. So I went ahead and just pushed it back, and then because then that doesn't really serve any purpose either, because like I wouldn't go in from that side anyway, so like it would just kind of be useless. So anyway, so I just kept it kind of straight like this, and then I have my makeup here, and I like to sit here and like do my makeup when I wear makeup, and it worked fine when I had the bed there. I felt like a little cramped, but like I could like sit up really nicely, and so I had like just the like least amount of room I needed, you know. But now I have all this space, so that's really nice, and I can like pull out my I have like a poof that I sit on, and so I can pull that out and sit on it, so I'm not like on the hard floor, so that's really nice. And yeah, and so then I did some switching of the extension cords and basically was able to free up an extension cord. I had to switch a longer one for under the bed because there's an outlet over there, and the one that I was using initially was too short now that I had to get it like under the bed and up to this lamp, if that makes sense. So I switched it out because I had it over here and kind of connected over here, but then I was able to kind of make this work with the shorter extension cord, and then there's still enough space for me to plug in the fairy lights, so it just kind of worked out perfectly. Anyway, so I have been reading quite a bit. I've read about 75 pages today of A Tale of Two Cities, which means I've read 100 pages total, which was my goal for this vlog. But I'm gonna keep reading. I kind of want to read another 25 pages tonight if I can, and make it to page 200. I'm still really loving this. I feel like this cover does a good job at not spoiling anything about the book, because this literally says nothing about what the book is about, other than like it's about, you know, these families during, you know, the French Revolution and the terror and everything. So you really don't know anything about it. I think I mentioned like there was a murder happening, a declaration of love, and we have like another what I think was a declaration of love. And it made me so sad, because like this one guy just kind of was like, I love you, but like I know you don't love me or something. I have no clue. Yeah, he was like, I wish to know you, or I wish you to know that you have been the last dream of my soul. And then he's like, to wish you to know with a sudden mastery, or with what a sudden mastery you kindled me, heap of ashes that I am, and a fire, however, inseparable in its nature from myself, quickening to nothing, lighting nothing, doing no service, idly burning away. I'm like, am I reading that right? Like, is that like a love declaration of a guy who like is aware that this character doesn't love him? Sometimes just to make sure that I'm on the right track, I go into Spark Notes to see, so I definitely need to go into Spark Notes and kind of figure out if I'm reading into that right. I think this is such a great introduction to Charles Dickens if you're interested in getting into him. I feel like it's fairly short. I think this is like one of his shortest novels. I'm hoping tonight that I will read a bit more, and then definitely read a bit more of Stirring Spurs. I'm thinking, I wanted to finish it I think yesterday or today, but I have a plan actually, so I think I may finish the book tomorrow, but my plan is that I want to watch a movie tonight if I'm able to. There's that movie, it's like K-pop Demon Hunters or something on Netflix, I think it is. I keep hearing the Golden song. So I really want to watch this movie. So it's an hour and 39 minutes. So if I started it now, I'd be done at like 8. So I feel like that's not bad. So what I'm thinking actually is I'll spend another 30 minutes reading, watch the movie, and then maybe read a bit of Stirring Spurs if I'm still awake. So yeah, today's been kind of a fun day. It's been a fun hobby day. I've crocheted a bit. I unwound like an old knitting project to kind of make something new. I'm gonna try and make leg warmers, and we'll see how that goes. That's gonna be like a long-term project because it's like one of my thinnest yarns that I have. Y'all, I just got done watching K-pop Demon Hunters. I loved it. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. I wonder if there's going to be like a second one, because I feel like it kind of, I mean, I know, you know, with how it ended, but then it had like the, you know, the little two things at the end. Watching, if that makes sense. Let me see. K-pop, demon. I wonder. Okay, there could be a potential sequel. Oh no, 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 no. No! Alright, good morning everyone. So it is Tuesday, and I have like 3 dance classes I'm going to try and go to today. There's 2 kind of in about 2.5 hours, and then 1 later tonight. So I have about 2 hours till I need to get ready, so I think I'm going to try and finish Stirring Spurs. I think I'm like 88 pages in or something. So I have about 100 pages left. It's a bit under like the 206. I think really this book is like 187 pages, so I have about 100 pages left, and it reads pretty quickly, so I think I can get close to finishing it, or maybe even finish it by the time I need to get ready. So yeah, anyway, I'm not obsessed with this, so I was kind of hoping for like something, you know, like Elsie Silver or like Lila Sage, kind of those type of cowboy romances. I don't know, that kind of like contemporary romance genre. But this is definitely more of like a Harlequinade like romance, you know, where like you have the shirtless man on the cover and like the girl draped over his lap or something. It is short, it's 187 pages, and so everything is just kind of moving pretty quickly in terms of attraction. I mean, at least at this point, the 2 characters haven't, you know, had sex or anything, but they have kissed a little bit. It literally within like the first 5 pages, like within like literally as soon as they saw each other, the 2 characters were interested in each other, which is not something I really care for. I don't like insta lust or like insta attraction and all of that, but I think it's kind of necessary for these books because they are so short. Yeah, I do appreciate that the author's kind of dragging out like the romance a bit, but I have a feeling things are gonna start happening soon. There really hasn't been a plot too much. So you have I forgot what their last names are, but you have Boone, Billy, Bo, and Benny. I don't know, they all have B like names, and they all sound very similar to each other. Boone and Bo are twins, and then you have, I think it's Benny and Billy. Billy's the youngest sister, and then Benny, or maybe Benny's the youngest. I don't know, one of them's the youngest brother or the youngest sister, so it's 3 brothers and 1 sister, and every single sibling is queer in some way. And so we're following, I think it's Boone. Yeah, Boone in this book, and he's kind of like the cook of the family. He cares for the family. He's like the mother hen, and so he makes everybody food and just kind of is there for everyone. I haven't been like loving it though, all that being said. I'm not like too crazy for it. It just kind of feels, you know, just like a bodice ripper kind of book. The characters are just very generic and, you know, instantly lusty and everything, and just kind of have very like superficial like development, if that makes sense. Like they're not really developed any further. But again, the book is only 187 pages, so like how are we supposed to develop them a whole lot, you know? Alrighty, we're back with another update. It is time to finish A Tale of Two Cities. I went to ballet class. I had a really good class. I danced a little bit my senior year, But it was just like too much. I did the Aggie Ballet Company, and it was just like too much, you know, to get into after not dancing for years. And so like the entire semester that I was in that group, I just, like, I loved it. Like, everyone was great, like, no bad things to say about it, but like like personally I was like, this is, I suck. And it was just too much too soon, like getting right back into like advanced stuff and getting like doing point work when I hadn't done point work in 3 years and everything. And I had a lot of back pain, I injured my ankle really badly, so like it was just too much too soon. So like even though I had a great time and like it was great being like dancing again, mentally it was great. Physically I just could not do anything. Like when you go from like doing nothing to doing advanced classes, of course you're gonna struggle a bit. And so like it kind of was a lot like mentally too, just being like, man, I don't really deserve to be here. That's kind of like was my mindset, but I still had a great time, and I'm glad that, you know, I was allowed to be in the company. And so I don't really consider those, you know, few months that I was in the group like dancing, to be honest. I was struggling. That's what I was doing. I was struggling. That's why I'm always like, yeah, I haven't danced like in so long. I have been getting back into it slowly. Last week I started classes up again, and I've just been doing like beginner ballet because I haven't danced really in 6 years, unless you count like the Aggie Ballet Company, but I don't really tend to count it just because it was just a lot, which I realize I should be counting it, but like in my brain it doesn't count. Tonight was kind of like the first night where I really felt like I was dancing again, which was really great. I've been doing stretch classes almost every day, and I feel like that has really helped with my mobility. And I've noticed, like, even in just this, like, you know, first week back, like from my first class to like tonight's class, you know, how much more like mobile I am, how much more, like how much higher I can lift my leg and everything. So tonight was just a really great night. I just felt like I could really dance again, and that felt really great because I haven't felt that feeling in a long time. Anyway, so I've been in a good mood, and I think tonight we're gonna finish A Tale of Two Cities. I just have 37 pages left. It's 8:15, so I think I can finish this by 9, maybe like 9:15, because it takes me a long time to get through some of this. Just when you thought things were fixed, no, they're bad again. Like, I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, I swear, if the characters aren't happy and like alive at the end of this, I'm gonna cry. Like, I need everyone to be happy. Hello everyone, it is Wednesday morning. It's like 8:30 in the morning. So I did in fact finish A Tale of Two Cities. I'm not okay, guys. I loved it. 5 stars. It was just incredible. I'm so happy, like, I had such a good experience with my first book by Charles Dickens, because I was a little worried because I feel like sometimes you either love him or you hate him based on what I've heard. And I really didn't know what to expect going into this because the back cover does a good job at not spoiling the book. You know, like, I didn't realize we were going to be focusing on like a select few people. I mean, it does say that we are tracing the private lives of a group of people, so, you know, that's probably, that's very accurate. But I just wasn't sure like what to expect. If you had told me that this is what the book was going to be about, and I'd be like so upset but also like obsessed, I would not have believed you, but that is the case. And so I am officially done with A Tale of Two Cities, and so we've taken off another physical TBR book, which is really great. Sadly, it is a little damaged now because I dropped my tea on it, but it held up, so that's good. So now I'm like, what do I read next? We've read 3 books in this video, and I like to at least read like 1 more, maybe 2 more. This video is like, I think, following a week, so I technically have a few more days that I can like chat with y'all. So I have a few options, and I'm kind of tempted to just read everything. So I still have like a week left, I think, in July. Yeah, I still have about a week left. So I'm thinking, what if we just like read all of these simultaneously? I don't know, guys. So, first of all, I have two classics, of course. I kind of picked the next shortest classics on my shelf that I'm not like saving for a particular season. Technically, I want to save this book by Sappho, her like some poems and stuff, for like Valentine's Day and like February because I thought that'd be cute. But I may just like go into it, you know, and read it. So I'm thinking we will read this, and then that'll be a good, easy like second TBR book. I try and read like 2 books off my physical TBR a month, so we have one down, and so this will be an easy second. But then I kind of want to read 2 more. I have Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. I've read Ethan Frome from her, and that's like the only book I've read, and I did really like it. So I'm curious to see if I will feel the same about this book. I know a lot of people really love this book, and apparently it's her most famous novel, and I believe it was published in like 1920 or something, but I believe this is set in the 1870s maybe. You have Newland Archer, who is a very charming person. He's engaged to Mary Welland, and then things happen. And then I have a fantasy. So this is The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I've been wanting to get into the Robin Hobb universe. It's like 16 books, and the first kind of trilogy that you read is the Farseer trilogy. I think every book or like every series is like a trilogy, or maybe there's one with like 4, I don't know, but it's like, you know, a collection of books in this universe, and you start with the Farseer trilogy. So this is about Fitz, who is a bastard son of the noble Prince Chivalry, and he's kind of kept close to the court, but not too close, just because of you know, they want to keep an eye on him, but they don't, you know, want to like embolden him to potentially take over the throne, I guess. And so he's treated as an outcast, but then King Shrewd has him secretly tutored in the arts of the assassin. And there's magic in Fitz's blood. And so we kind of follow Fitz as he becomes a man, and he experiences his first dangerous, soul-shattering mission. And though some regard him as a threat to the throne, he may just be the key to the survival of the kingdom. So I'm very excited about this. I've heard it's more political fantasy, I think, which is right up my alley. I love like some fantasy, a lot of politics, a lot of world building, so I'm excited to get into this, and I think that's what we will try to do. I have the rest of the series as well, the Farseer trilogy. It's like back in here, up here, if you can see. So I was thinking of kind of reading them before school starts, so I think that'll be the case. So I think honestly, I'm gonna try and read all 3 of these. Alright, hello everyone. So it's Saturday. I think I haven't talked to y'all in like 2-ish days or something. I just had like nothing to film because I was just making slow progress on the books. However, it is now the weekend and I'm very happy. I do have some reading updates, not a whole lot because I think I'm like a day behind in my like reading, you know, however many pages a day to get done by the end of July, but I do have some progress. So first of all, I am about 30 or so pages into Sappho's Done with Love, Poems and Fragments, and I don't think I'm really a poetry person. Not that this isn't like bad or anything, I just feel like I don't get a lot out of poetry, especially when it's like poetry from this far back in time, you know? But I do really appreciate on the right side like explanations of the poem. The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. I'm about 64 pages in here. I should be 90, so I'm about 30 pages off of my goal. But I highlighted a lot more than I thought I had when I was going through and adding the sticky tabs, because I tend to do it after I'm reading just because it kind of disrupts the flow. I was like, wow, I didn't realize I had like highlighted so many things. There's just a lot to think about with this, so it's really interesting. So you have Newland Archer, who's kind of like our main dude, and he's engaged to a woman named May Welland. She's like this really young girl, and so he's engaged to her. And then all of a sudden her cousin shows up in town. Can you see where this is going? So yeah, it happens like right off the bat, I think within the first chapter. I have been finding this so interesting because Newland Archer is kind of a very interesting protagonist. Is he a protagonist? I don't know if I'd consider him a protagonist, that's the thing, because he's very much like a product of society. I think it also says, yeah, on the back, he's a product of the society, and so he kind of like, in his inner monologue, you can hear him saying like things like, oh, I'm gonna have to like educate my wife, but you kind of see the way he has been raised to like care for women in like that societal standard. Okay, anyway, I can't find a good example because I don't think I've highlighted a lot of the examples of this, but it's really interesting because you can see how he's kind of been raised to be like, I'm, you know, the man of the household, obviously, like in this time period, and like I'm gonna provide for my woman and like educate my woman and like, you know, teach her the ways of the world or whatever, because she's such a pure little human being and knows nothing, which is kind of the thinking, you know, back then of this time. And so initially I was like, ooh, dude, stop. But then I'm like trying to put myself in, you know, the year like 1870 or whenever this was written. He kind of has hints of him like questioning the system. There's like a big part where he defends May Welland's cousin because she's kind of an outcast in society, and you can kind of see like the Archer's like kind of narrative change, and you kind of see it throughout, you know, little bits and pieces mixed in with like his societal upbringing. And so there's like a part where he says women should be free as men. I think that's kind of what the line is, kind of in defense of what's her face, Ellen, yeah. But he's kind of like talking with like his family or like with a few other people, and he's kind of like, why are we like, you know, ostracizing her? She was in an awful, you know, situation. And then also kind of him kind of taking on more of a liberal view of women. That's, I feel like, a lot of Ellen's influence, and so it's kind of interesting to see how easily he's changing just within these like 60 pages, just within like a few meetings with Ellen. We shall see what happens. That's kind of where I'm at. Archer is trying to like move up the wedding for whatever reason. He's very like, maybe, I feel like maybe he knows like subconsciously what he's kind of thinking is not right, because he seems to have taken an interest in Ellen as opposed to his bride-to-be, and so he's trying to move up the wedding date and everything and all that. So we'll see how that goes. So like part of me like likes him because, you know, like at least, you know, he understands, or I guess at least he, you know, kind of has a more liberal view of women in this time period. But then also I'm like, you're so easily influenced by women to think this because you were perfectly happy with your bride-to-be not thinking any of these things, and now all of a sudden this new woman. Oh my god, a disco ball just that is so funny. A disco ball just rolled by. I can't speak. A disco ball rolled by. Anyway, that was hilarious. I think someone's having like a party or something. I was like, what the heck? Okay, anyway, so it's very interesting to kind of see how easily influenced he is, even if it is like a good influence in that sense, but I'm gonna assume that it kind of goes off the deep end, and I'm assuming there's gonna be some like infidelity in there. So yeah, so far I'm like liking it. Like I wasn't like obsessed with it within the first 30 pages, but kind of as we got more into it in the next 30 pages, I am liking it a lot more, and I'm glad that we picked this one. So yes. And then of course we are reading Assassin's Apprentice. Finally, we are starting the Robin Hobb universe. Y'all know this is like a 16-book series pretty much, and we are starting with the first trilogy, which is really exciting, and I'm really enjoying this. So you have Fitz, who's our main character, and I explained previously that he is kind of the bastard son of Prince Chivalry. And so the king decides to kind of keep him close by, but just out of arm's reach, you know, of royal life, and train him as an assassin. And we haven't gotten, like, to the training of the assassin stuff yet, but we had this whole scene where the king is, like, talking to, I think, one of his sons, Prince Regal, and Fitz is there, and the king is like, use him. Why are you just letting him, like, walk around the palace, like, and do whatever? Use him and mold him into, like, what you want to be. Like, he can be so many things because he's, like, he's royalty, but he's not quite royalty, you know? I thought that was really interesting, so I've been really liking that. And we're kind of following Fitz throughout his whole life, it seems. So we start off when he's like 6, I think, when he kind of has his first memories, when he is left, when his grandpa kind of leaves him at the, like, Prince Chivalry's, like, doorstep pretty much, and we're kind of seeing him kind of come into the kingdom and kind of have a bit of free reign for a little bit, and then finally the king is like, no, we're gonna train this dude. So yes, so I'm about to get into chapter 4, which is apprenticeship. I'm on page 68, so I'm very excited to see how this goes. I should be on page like 150, and I think I should, like, read to page 200 a day, I think is kind of where we're at. I don't know if we're gonna get through all of that, but maybe we will. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I really love how it's written. Kind of in the first page, we get this really great, like, paragraph, like, opening paragraph. My pen falters and falls from my knuckly grip, leaving a worm's trail of ink across veteran's paper. And then kind of a few sentences down, it says, I think myself cured of all spite, but when I touch pen to paper, the hurt of a boy bleeds out with the sea-spawned ink until I suspect each carefully formed black letter scabs over some ancient scarlet wound. And I was like, ooh, I like that. So I'm very excited to see where this goes. Hello everyone, so today is Monday, it's the start of a new week, and I think I'm actually going to end this video. I think I got a lot of footage, and I'm tired of filming, so we're going to end it. So yeah, let's see what we ended up reading. We read quite a bit in this video. So I finished Ballad of Whispers, which was okay. I didn't really care for it. I'll probably read the next one just because, like, my interest is piqued, but, like, I don't know, it's like under a 3-star. I think I gave it like a 2.75 stars, so yeah. We read A Tale of Two Cities. I loved that book so much, 5 stars. It was so good, and I'm so happy to have finally gotten into Charles Dickens, and I have a couple of his other books as well, and of course he has like a million of them, so I need to kind of go through and see what I'll read next from him. I also read Stirring Spurs, which was fine. I didn't really care for it either. I thought it was going to be kind of like a contemporary romance, you know, that's like 300 pages or so, but it was more of like you're kind of just reading it for sex, which I didn't really care about. So yeah, I mean, the characters were nice, and I like the premise of the book. It's like, it's part of the Rainbow Ranch series, and so it's this ranch where like all these brothers and their sister have kind of created a safe space for queer people, and I love that. I just didn't love the book. I don't know, I just was like, I don't really like books like that. Like, they're a good palate cleanser, but they're just too short. And yeah, so anyway, it's not that serious, but didn't really care for that one. I did finish a third book, and that was Stung with Love by Sappho. I don't know how to feel about this. I liked it. Like, I do like Sappho's poetry. I don't know, sometimes with like the translation, I was like, where are you coming up with this stuff? And like, I'm not very knowledgeable about this time period, but there were instances where I'm like, how do you know who she's referring to? Like, because the author or the translator would be like, oh yeah, this means that this and this person were present. How do you know that? Because like, it's nowhere else in here. Like, maybe it's in like a fragment that was so small that they didn't include it in here. I don't know. But I went on Goodreads to kind of look at reviews, and a lot of the people who kind of felt the same way that I did said that they liked the poetry, but they didn't really like the translation, so I do kind of agree. And yeah, I don't know. I also just don't think poetry is really for me. I like when it's really pretty, but I don't really care about analyzing it, if I'm being honest, so maybe poetry is not for me. But I would like to read, I think it's called If Not Winter. It's Sappho's Fragments translated by Anne Carson. That one's supposed to be really good, so I would like to give that a go if I can ever find it. So we finished, what was that, 4 books, which is really good. And we made some progress on 2 other books. So actually, I don't think I've made any progress. Yeah, I haven't made any progress since I last talked to y'all about Assassin's Apprentice. I kind of focused on finishing up Sappho, and then also getting a good ways into Age of Innocence. I am obsessed with this. I love it. So I have about 100 pages left, or like 120 pages left, I think. When I was initially reading it, like, you know, at the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, mainly because I don't like Arthur as our protagonist. But then I adopted the mindset that maybe we're not supposed to be obsessed with him, you know? Like, maybe he's like a flawed character, you know? And so then that kind of made me like it a bit more. And I would like him with Ellen, the May's cousin, who kind of comes into town and kind of starts this all off. And I feel like I would like him with her if he wasn't engaged to someone else. And I also just feel like maybe like my one criticism of this novel is that I feel like we're missing a lot of context to Archer and Ellen's relationship prior to when this book starts. So when this book starts, Ellen like kind of comes onto the scene for the first time. It happens in the first chapter. And so that's like our first meeting of her. But I feel like, I don't know if I'm just reading it too fast or if I'm not really reading it correctly, but I feel like we don't really know anything about Ellen and Archer's relationship prior to that. And I think they like knew each other, but we don't really know much else. And because Ellen's been married and off in like Europe. Yeah, so now she comes back. Apparently Archer wanted to marry her all along. Like, he didn't want to ever marry May. He wanted to marry Archer, or he wanted to marry Ellen because that's who he really loved. And I'm like, where are we getting that from? Like, I don't know if I've just like missed it, but I mean, you can definitely see like how much Ellen has impacted him literally right off the bat. I just don't know like where the love came from, and so I don't know, you know, what's going on, because I'm just like, I don't really think he loves her, but like it sounds like they both love each other, because like they're acting like they've been in love with each other since before like we met them in the first chapter, and it's like we don't really have any context for that, or if we did, I missed it. So definitely a great reading vlog. We read quite a bit. I am going to try and finish this up like today or tomorrow. I was like, you know what, I've already read my 2 physical TBR books, like this was the second one, so there's no need to like rush these to finish them by the end of July. I could just take them into August with me and then have my August 2 physical TBR books done earlier, if that makes sense. So yeah, so we will finish these up eventually, just not right now because I don't want to. But yes, anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think this is kind of going to be the last reading vlog that I film while I'm not in grad school, which is kind of sad because now I'm going to be really busy, so I don't know how reading vlogs are going to look going forward, but I would like to post reading vlogs if I can. I mentioned in my previous video in the moving vlog, if you haven't watched it, that the garbage collectors are here, that there's going to be some noise in the background, but I mentioned that I'm gonna try and post like twice a month, every other week. And so at least like 1 PhD vlog a month, and then I was thinking alternating between like knitting or reading, or knitting or reading, kind of just depending on my mood, or maybe not even alternating, maybe I'll just do reading vlogs, you know? So I think the next kind of like video that you're gonna see from me is actually a PhD vlog if I manage to keep up with it. Oh, should I update y'all on my knitting project in the meantime? I finished 1 leg warmer. Here we go. I still need to like wash it and block it, but we did finish 1, which is really great. It looks really short, but apparently my legs are short because this fits really well, so yeah. But I am gonna make like a crochet tie because they do kind of fall down a little bit, so we'll see if that helps kind of keep them on. And I have started the second, and I think I'm gonna have plenty of yarn left over because I kind of want to make like a cropped long sleeve kind of boat neck top to wear over my leotard, and then I can have like a matching set. So I think that'd be really cute. So I think I'm gonna be working on this today just because I'm not like in a big reading mood. I read a lot of The Age of Innocence last night, so I kind of need a break this morning. And yeah, anyway, I think that's everything. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm kind of sad to like end this video just because, again, it's like the last video before I go back to school. So like, I don't know what reading vlogs are gonna look like from now on, but hopefully I can get like a good work-life balance. I know that's kind of not common in a PhD, but I would like to try and keep a work-life balance if I can. Anyway, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna edit this video at some point, and kind of do my chores today. And yeah, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!